These NFL guys are something else. Some of them are living like dirty-footed hobos, while others are dropping stacks on cleats that cost more than houses. I can't even make this stuff up, you guys. These are $1 cleats to $200,000 NFL cleats. Let's kick things off with a player that definitely ain't punting footballs with his choice of footwear. If it were up to legendary Mac Hollins, he'd wear no cleats at all, putting him on our list at technically $0 on footwear if he had it his way.
And just like Tarzan, Mac doesn't wear shoes.
I think shoes are a tool, and people have made them a part of their body.
The dude doesn't just want to run routes barefoot, he struts the dirty streets of New York City and even into ESPN's studio with his bare toes, pippity poppin'.
You to wear mitts your whole life, you would think that's crazy. But when you put them on your feet, nobody got anything to say?
Known for being the nicest and weirdest guy on the team, this Buffalo Bills wide receiver does wear cleats during official game time, or as he calls them, foot prisons, but only because he's required to by the league. Otherwise, this football Tarzan goes foot naked everywhere, living by his own rules, some of which are just as crazy as his choice of footwear. Hollins takes au naturel to another level. The dude is anti-cutlery.
I don't like people that eat with utensils, to be honest with you. I think that makes you soft. You can't eat it with your hands, you shouldn't be eating it. Soup. Shouldn't be eating soup.
That's just nasty. Mac Hollins, you're a savage. No cleats is next level. And while some players we'll cover later in our video broke the bank on their cleats, Cam Newton broke our eyes because of this next hideous pair of custom Under Armours he wore pre-game in 2016. We just gotta ask, what are those? Cam Newton is a prime example of a man unafraid of print and experimental style, but with these, I don't know where to begin. From the brown tail at the heel to the black and white zebra print that has 2018 girls calling in a bad way. You may have been lucky enough to snag a pair of these from Under Armour in 2017 because they were available for purchase limited edition for $175, but without the tail. Cause only a pussy like Cam who won't dive on a fumble in the Super Bowl gets a pair with a little tail. While Cam's tail cleats may have been robbed of fashion, these next cleats stole, Christmas? OBJ did, when he rocked these fuzzy nostalgic cleats in 2019 during the December 22nd pregame time between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Retailing at $375, Nike created a Christmas miracle when they made these. The Nike Vapor Untouchable Pro 3 OBJ Grinch cleats, covered in bright green faux fur with his initials OBJ stitched on the sides with white and red candy cane piping, and tiny little red heart embroidered on the back heel. To top it off, the Grinch's red hat at the tongue.
Grinch. The three words that best describe you are as follows.
If you ain't wearing these during Christmas, then Santa will be putting all your gifts on ho-ho hold. So don't be a Christmas fool, be like OBJ and get into the golden Christmas spirit. Speaking of gold, boy oh boy do we have a pair that, after 9 years, still belongs on this list as some of the most beautiful and expensive cleats ever seen by mankind. But before we get into that, we got something to tell you. Your parents called and they told us you've been a complete tool this year. So before the holiday season even begins, we're giving you a chance to totally redeem yourself. Subscribe to our channel right now. Make mom and pops proud. Be the smart sports fan we know you can be. And subscribe. Imagine spending big on new kicks and you're not even allowed to wear them. That was the reality for our man Marshawn back in 2015. He had these shiny golden nugget bad boys handmade by the well-known customizer creator Souls by Sir. These beauties upper is completely covered with 24 karat gold flake paint to achieve the blinding gold effect, and even shiner gold chrome plating on the bottom soles. Finished off with lime green laces, these ones are a solid must mention on our list. Souls by Sir sent the bill for these for a cool $1,100. Marshawn was planning on wearing them during game time during the NFC Championship game, but he decided it was a no-go when he was threatened by the NFL with being ejected for rocking them during the game. And we all know that no one hates getting fined more than beast mode.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Marshawn.
So Marshawn still wore these shiny kicks in warm-ups, but after that, the man put them back in the box. Just depressing. I wonder if his Skittles intake increased that day to manage the pain? Alvin Kamara was close to being on Santa's naughty list for wearing this pair of custom Adidas Freak Ultra Prime Knit cleats on Christmas Day in 2021. But he still ended up on good terms with the big fella after his good deed. These cleats were crazy festive. Bam! The left cleat completely green with a shimmer paint finish. Boom! The right cleat was top to bottom bright red with a similar shimmer finish, both shoes featuring his number 41 on the sides. Damn, somehow Kamara makes those look clean as hell. If I wore them, I'd look like a goofy elf and probably get my ass kicked.
Kamara gets it and right up the gut, he is gone. Touchdown, Saints.
Kamara knew he'd be fine for wearing his funky footwear, but he didn't care. He had other plans. Kamara said, if they find me, I'll just match it and send it to charity. The Grinch always tries to steal Christmas. And Kamara didn't just wear the cleats. He put on an absolute show for the ages by scoring 6 touchdowns in those suckers against the Vikings. A true Christmas miracle. And get this, the NFL slammed him with a fine of $5,000. And Kamara matched that with a $5,000 donation to charity. So he basically paid $10,000 to wear his Christmas cleats. But being the NFL, they also had to double dip and inducted the record-breaking cleats into the Hall of Fame. So snaky, bro. And I didn't know snakes even lived in the USA. I thought they were just in tropical islands like Australia. Which leads us to a throwback pair of cleats worth even more than $10,000. Worn by a Packers legend. But you ain't gonna find the material they're made out of in Wisconsin. I assure you of that, mate. The first Super Bowl ever was in 1967, played between the Packers and Chiefs. The conditions were frickin' frigid.
There was housing discrimination, but it was legal, you understand?
The teams played in freezing conditions with heavy wind that made it feel like it was minus 34 degrees out.
The extreme temperature is really rough to deal with, but it's probably still better than dealing with this, the blizzard of 1967.
It was so cold their schlongs were turning into Dixicles. So the Packers linebacker Dave Robinson wanted to make sure he was a little more comfortable the next time around. The next year during Super Bowl II, Robinson invested in cleats made out of the coziest and softest material known to man, kangaroo skin. We ain't fooling. These puppies might not have looked as fancy as some of today's kicks, but they were deluxe. Decked out with his number 89 on them too. Badass. Robinson and the Packers won the game, so he decided he was going to pull them next time he made it to another Super Bowl. That never happened though. So instead, in 2022, the Hall of Fame linebacker auctioned these suckers off for $15,000. Might sound like a lot, but could you imagine if they gave you the speed of a kangaroo? Definitely worth it. Enough about speed. How about size? It matters. You know what they say about big feet, right? The city of Detroit proved their hearts are almost as big as these mammoth-sized cleats. In 2024, a bunch of wickedly talented artists teamed up to paint all over gigantic cleats in Detroit.
Everybody eats. Everybody deserves healthy food. Everybody deserves good food. Everybody deserves food in their pantry.
Getting here this morning and seeing the cleat set up here at the airport, it's kind of like having an out-of-body experience.
I mean, check these things out. Hot diggity, they are big and beautiful. Damn. They did this all for a project called Decleated, for the purpose of auctioning them off and donating the proceeds to charities.
The cleats will be displayed in and around downtown Detroit and then auctioned off to benefit the nonprofits shortly after the 3-day event.
And guess what? Decleated raised over $80,000 for charity. That averages more than $4,000 per shoe. And you can't even wear these things. I mean, unless you're Gronk. Dude was packing. Not bad at all, Detroit. Let's talk about a time when a pair of cleats worn during game time so distracting, they threw the lines off completely. They played like they were dragging their jaws all over the field. Unlike the boring-ass pair we cover coming up, so stick around. Yep, we're back to the great OBJ. Odell makes it impossible to not get mentioned multiple times on any NFL cleat list. These colorful kicks rock about every color imaginable in an abstract design that covers the entire shoe. It's like a hungover rainbow vomited all over them.
Beckham wore the custom cleats on Sunday in memory of longtime NBA announcer Craig Sager, who passed away last week after a long battle with cancer.
They were custom made by famous shoe guru Troy Cole, also known as Kickasso. He wore them to honor the late and beloved sports journalist Craig Sager, who was an absolute legend in menswear, known for wearing flashy, colorful suits during his NBA in-game interviews. I mean, look at this guy.
You take this and you burn it.
It's not any part I can keep?
No, nothing. So when you get done with this, you should be butt-ass naked. This should be burned.
OBJ broke the NFL's non-conforming uniform policy, and Odell got fined a hefty $18,000 for wearing them during the game. But hey, they beat the Lions 17-6, so maybe it was still worth it. Guess all the colors were just too much for the Lions' eyes to handle. But we're pretty sure Mr. Craig Sager would have loved them. Don't worry, Lions, we mailed y'all some retirement home sunglasses to protect your eyes from OBJ's next pair. Godspeed. How about another pair of stanky old used cleats that auctioned for a small fortune? By the way, can I just ask this? Who are the people buying these hella expensive used cleats at auctions? This is just wild. Okay, back to the subject. We couldn't possibly do a vid on expensive cleats without mentioning America's pretty boy, Tom Brady. He wore these basic biatch cleats at the 2007 playoff between the New England Patriots and the San Diego Chargers. Brady passed for 280 yards with 2 touchdowns. An impressive game for the average NFL quarterback, but for Brady, it was just another day at the office. The Patriots won against the Chargers by 24-21, and Brady's white and navy blue Nike cleats were sold at Sotheby's auction house for a staggering $88,900 in 2023. Only the man Tom Brady could pull off a stunt like this. Everything this man touches turns into frickin' unicorn diamonds. Yo, can we make a video of Tom Brady's face on a cartoon character who's riding on a rainbow unicorn with like dollar signs everywhere somehow? No? No? We can't? Alright, fine, whatever. Look, all I'm saying is Tom Brady could come over to my house, open up my pantry, and spit into a jar of peanut butter. I'd thank him for it, and I'd make a thick-ass PB&J with it immediately. And then I'd auction that off and make some serious moolah. But enough of my weird Tom Brady daydreaming. Let's move on to a juicy, sexy pair of unforgettable cleats that are expensive as fuck. The only cleats in NFL history worth more than Brady's goat stankers. We made it to the grand finale. We can't sleep on this larger-than-life pair. The shoe surgeon had his spicy creative juices flowing with these expensive-as-hell cleats.
We're working on a $150,000 cleat for Odell Beckham right now. The golden diamond, the yellow gold with diamonds in the swoosh. Cooper Cup and off-white dunk.
After Rams clinched a 20-17 win over the San Francisco 49ers to advance to the Super Bowl, the famous shoe customizer was watching. He texted OBJ, "One more." The surgeon had bigger, brighter visions of this next masterpiece pair for Odell. OBJ gave him the green light to create them. The surgeon hit the ground running and contacted celebrity jeweler Jason Arashabin, who runs Jason of Beverly Hills. Beckham has been a longtime client of his. The two collaborated on these stunning bright blue and yellow cleats with a Nike check, donning exactly 1,494 individual diamonds, totaling more than 25 carats. The kicks took more than 100 hours of labor, and instead of normally taking 3 months to complete, they had them done in 10 days.
We will all do our part. There's a thrill in each heart.
But when you pay as much for shoes as OBJ, the makers owe him their souls.
My fingers hurt.
Oh, well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty.
These bright-ass bad boys cost a whopping $200,000, making them the most expensive pair of cleats ever made. Man, I can barely afford to buy avocados anymore, and this guy is buying a pair of cleats for $200K? There is no justice. Well, that's it. Those were $1 to $200,000 NFL cleats. Thanks for watching. Your support is what keeps this channel going strong. So don't forget to subscribe. Peace out, y'all.